This is Patrick with New Jersey's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel. Back again at Nomad RVS in Toms River, New Jersey. Today, Steve is going to give us a tour of this Sprinter van that seats 4 and sleeps 4 with an elevator bed. So join us for the tour.
Patrick, appreciate you coming back. This is a client build. They supplied the van. It is a 2023 all-wheel drive, pretty maxed out. Not too much going on the outside, but we did add an AM auto sliding window. And you'll see when we get to the back on the inside, there's bunk windows on both sides. Those are broad arrow, dual pane. On the inside, you'll see they have the blackout shade and the bug screen too on them, and the awning out. On the roof, Flatline Vanco roof rack, that's gonna hold 400 watts of solar on this van. And then it's gonna hold an awning if you so chooses to add one in the future. And then of course, there's always the Max Air fan and then the Dometic RTX 2000 12 volt air conditioning on this build. Let's go inside, check it out. So as you mentioned, seats 4, sleeps 4. So you got the 2 seats in the front. Then we got this pretty sweet looking bench here in the back that folds away too. Has an armrest for this guy. This one does have the child safety clips for car seats and all that stuff. 3-point belts bolted through the floor, never gonna move. And then it's simple to put out of the way and we'll start showing you everything else. There's just 2 levers. It's gonna fold down. Another one is gonna fold up. So it's out of your way. This has factory swivels, leatherette, power, heated seats. The guy found a van that was super maxed out. It was even a power sliding door, and that's what he brought to us to use, which I was pretty excited about. Above that, as always, is our vanlife components headliner shelf, and that's gonna hold all the blackout curtains for the windows for him. As we walked in, you probably saw the Van Essentials bug screen. There's also one in the back too. Super different layout than we're used to doing around here. So above that seat there, you got 2 roof locker storages. There's a mini one on the other side when we get to it too, but with the elevator bed, it ends up blocking all that storage back there. So what we did was we added, big, almost a flex space for him. He didn't want a hanging closet. We could have done it because this is more of a weekend toy for him and going to baseball games and stuff like that with his son. So this is going to be a pantry and some folded clothes too, for that matter. And on that same wall, you have your SPAR S2D2 heater. That's the controller for it, because underneath a removable shelf down there is the heater itself. So actually the heat comes out the front here. On the side, by the side wall there, it's just an inlet because it has to bring air in, heat it up, and shoot it back out. You have life-proof vinyl flooring, 100% waterproof, 3/4 inch subfloor below that too. As always, regardless of the wall we do, this one happens to have shiplap, but there's dual layer thinsulate back there and single layer in the ceiling. This client chose to do the cedar ceiling, which is pretty popular from us. A lot of clients love it. You'll have 6 dimmable lights in the front here. There's nothing above the bed besides just your reading lights. And underneath, you'll see lights for there too for the bench. You got your Max Air fan here. This also has a magnetic cover to black that out. And then what we talked about before, the Dometic RTX 2000 centrally located. So on the galley side, you have your microwave. You're gonna have a mini little storage spot here too, since we had leftover space for him. Being that this is a different layout with that bench seat, we put an 80-liter fridge freezer here from Dometic, which we were able to then fit a drawer above it, full depth. He wanted some more space, for anything, so we did a little pantry. And underneath this sink here, there's actually a Starlink and then there's a induction cooktop. So that's the router for it. The Starlink lives on the roof. And then if he ever has to, reset his router, it's just under the sink, super easy for him. Stainless steel 15 by 15 sink, nice and deep. Bamboo cutting board, hot and cold water. You're gonna start noticing, if you haven't already, pretty common from us, water pump, water heater, and dump valve. Dump valve is 20 gallons underneath. That is for the gray tank. Your sink does go to that too. GFI outlet, more USBs and cigarette ports there. And then your Victron touchscreen. So there you're gonna be able to see your water levels, what's happening as far as your battery connections, all that stuff. And be able to turn the inverter on and off. And then a nice butcher block countertop. This one has shellac on it, which actually super durable. He opted for the 24 by 36 inch shower, all brushed nickel finishes, and a Dometic cassette toilet. And then you're gonna have the Nautilus self-scrubbing shower door. And then that's going to have a dim bulb light in it too. And what you probably see a whole bunch of little pieces of is the elevator bed. So you're going to see underneath here, this is basically twin beds. You do not have to make this into a queen bed if you didn't want to, because you have 26 by 74 inches in length. So you can sleep 2 people without making it a bed. Or underneath here, there's an additional piece that's going to go on these rails down here. And you'll be able to make it to an actual bed too if you wanted an actual queen. And in the middle have the Goon mount table. You can adjust it, move it around, spin it around, height, up, down, whatever you want to do. Back here is going to be all your breakers and your 12-volt fuses. Super easy to get to. Underneath where I am sitting, there is 540 amp hours of battery batteries, 60 amp hours of DC to DC, 12/3000 Victron inverter charger, and then everything else that's associated with that, the leak distributor, your solar controller for your 400 watts of solar up top. There is a mini garage you'll see in the very back. And then on this side, you have 2.5 gallon hot water heater and a 25 gallon fresh tank. And then to use this, there's a little key and button on the driver's side, just like you would see in a Revel. There's 2 buttons, up is up, down is down. I don't want to go too far to crush the table, but if you were sleeping, you'd probably go about that depth anyway. That way people can sleep underneath and people can sleep up top. That is a full-size bed. So this is 55 by 74 for the full size. You can see the 2 reading lights back there for you. Those have USBs too for charging. So now you can seats 4 and sleep 4. And then if you needed access to, so this is all slatted. This is how it comes. We use the slats. We build this portion around it. We build the ceiling to match. And then you have access to the motor if you ever needed to, or access to our ceiling light wiring too, just by removing the slats that come from the Lippert bed there. And you got tracks on both sides, little guide tracks. And you bring it up to the top and you're all done there. So we'll swing you around back to show you what's going on back there. He opted not to have back windows. He wasn't a fan. He wanted to keep things a little bit more private inside. He does have a trailer hitch. So what we did do is add these Van Essential bug screen that we spoke about before, and these Van Essential, quite frankly, I'm not even sure what they're calling them, but they're pockets. So you have a big pocket up front, adjustable strap for it, 2 other pockets. So we put the outdoor shower piece there. We give people a couple goodies for their power and to fill up their water. This stuff here, you can zip out the way if you needed to. You can roll it all up to have full access. So that's where you can see super mini garage. We only use the pass-through for wires. That way we have a tiny more storage if need be. Outdoor shower, gray tank heater pad. That's your gravity fill. And then you're gonna have, while you're doing the fill, you can lift the cushion and literally look at the tank, or you can look at the fresh. You can look at your gray, your battery levels, all that stuff. And venting for all your electronics as always. We'll wrap around to the driver's side, and the only thing hanging on this is your shore power. And then in the front here, there's your exhaust for your S-Power S2D2 heater, and that is up to 13,000 elevation now. And then you're gonna see the 20-gallon gray tank, 15 on this build, and we're gonna bedline that whole thing now that's outside the shop for fumes and all that stuff. And the ball valve in the front. This is everything this client wanted.
Steve, thank you very much for taking the time today. Give us a tour of this awesome van creation. Can we check out that bed once again?
Yeah, let's take a peek.
I have a question for you. So when the bed was down, there's plenty of room for you to have someone sleeping here, someone sleeping here.
Yep.
What I like about that is it gives you options, because if you wanted to load, does this all come out or this is permanent?
This is a permanent garage that he wanted just for, anything to be out of sight basically without opening the back doors.
Gotcha. So you could leave this all set up for dining or work space and literally lower the bed as far as you would like. You don't have to go as far as you did. Right,
so if you wanted to, or if you're only 2 people, say the kids weren't with them, you could lower it almost to this level here and sleep on that bed. Option 2 is, you're having a fight, you sleep 1-on-1. You don't have to sleep next to the wife, the missus if you don't want to. Or, kids, or for that matter, if you don't want to use the bed, you're super tired, you can just crawl back in here. Maybe you're getting up early. They're going to stay sleeping. You're going to get in and start driving and continue the trip. There's options, a lot of options for bed space in this van. Awesome. I'll make sure I put links in the description with some pricing and links to your website. This is Patrick with New Jersey's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel. Thanks for the tour. Appreciate it, Patrick.